Hey everyone, Dandy Manders here, and I wanted to make a new video because on my last video I got a comment with a couple of questions from That Makes Sense 924. So thank you for the nice comment and thank you for the questions. The first question is, how do you keep up with weight loss when you stop for a long time or you're stuck or unmotivated? So my first tip is to ease into it. If you haven't worked out for a really long time, and you've been out of the game for a while, I guess, you really want to ease into it. Don't push yourself too hard, especially out of shame or guilt or thinking that the harder that you push yourself, the faster the results will be, because in the long run, it'll be detrimental. I think a lot of people think that if they push themselves really hard and, they lift that extra weight and they run that extra mile, if it's hurting in a bad way, the next day you're too sore, or you actually pull a muscle or you hurt yourself, then you're not going to want to stick with that. And if it's too hard to the point where you're wanting to give up in the middle of your workout once you've just started, then you're really not going to stick with that. So it's okay to start out easy. It's okay to go for a slow-paced walk. It's okay to go swimming. It's okay to do easier exercises, something that you can do and something that you'll stick with. And once you've been doing it for a while, then you can start pushing yourself a little bit harder. Still not pushing yourself too much to the point where you're hurting yourself, but, build up from the easy, have a foundation, build up from the easy exercises, and then work your way up. So, my second tip is you can break up your exercises into a couple times a day. I think a lot of people think that if you're going to work out, you have to do it 5 or 6 times a day, an hour a day, at one block a time, when really you can just break up your exercises into a bunch of little exercises. So if you want to go for a quick walk for 10 minutes in the morning before you go to work, or at lunch you want to lift some weights, or after work or school, or whatever your routine is, you want to go swimming, you want to do a little bit of yoga, whatever you want to do, you can do 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 20 minutes, until it adds up to half an hour or an hour or longer if you want to. So don't feel like you have to do one big block of exercise at a time. You can break it up if that's easier for you to incorporate it into your schedule. So the next tip is pick something that you enjoy. I think a lot of people think that they have to do squats, or they have to do push-ups, or they have to run, or they have to lift weights, and you really don't have to do anything. What you have to do is find something that you enjoy doing, and you'll stick with it. If you don't like yoga, don't do yoga. If you love swimming, swim all you want. Really, it's all about what you enjoy and what you're going to be able to stick with. Because in the long run, this is a lifestyle change and this is a journey. So what you want to do is pick something that you can stick with and that you enjoy and that you get something out of. Exercise doesn't have to be something that you're sweating and you're out of breath and you just are hating it at the end of your exercise, because at the end of it you should be loving it. And yes, you may be sweating, and yes, you may be out of breath, but whatever is making you do that, you should enjoy. So, and if you've been working out for a while and you're stuck or you're unmotivated, you just can't get going with your workout, then switch things up. If you've been doing high intensity interval training and you're getting burnt out on that, then, try some walking or some running, or, try lifting weights. If you have been doing yoga, then do Pilates. If you've been doing Pilates, then try swimming. Or you could try joining a group sport. You could do softball, basketball, whatever it is. If you're getting bored with what you're doing, then you want to look for something else to switch it up. So those are my tips for if you have stopped for a long time or if you're unmotivated. So the next question is, what foods do I eat? And I have a few staple foods that I have. I like to keep it simple, and I like to keep some of the same things on hand at all times. So I like to have oatmeal and cereal, eggs. I like almond milk, hemp milk, coconut milk, and generally I get the sweetened version vanilla, because I add it to my oatmeal and my cereal and smoothies and stuff like that. Frozen fruits and veggies, I love that, very versatile. I have jams or preserves or jellies and stuff like that because I like to add that to my oatmeal. Yogurt, that's always good. You can add it to smoothies. You can add the fruits, that's the word. You can add the fruits to it. You can add granola, whatever you want. Cottage cheese, I love cottage cheese. You can do a lot with cottage cheese. It can be a savory treat. It can be a sweet treat. I like to add jams to it. I also like adding, one of my favorite things to eat, and I can't, it's hard to get everybody on board with this, but I swear it's really tasty, is cottage cheese with peaches and cayenne pepper and honey. It doesn't sound like the greatest thing, but it really is. It's a mix of spicy and savory and creamy and sweet, and it's just really good. So try it sometime. I love burritos of any kind. I always have stuff to make burritos on hand. Tortillas, cheese, refried beans, salsa. And sometimes I'll just have it simple like that, or sometimes I like to add chicken to it, or sometimes I'll go all out and I'll have tomatoes, onions, guacamole, you know, just the works. So sandwiches, I love sandwiches. Soup, I love soup. Soup is another thing like burritos. You can just kind of make whatever you want and add whatever you want to it. So that's really versatile. And I like to keep these things on hand. I don't really switch it up too much. Because I think that if you have too much of a variety, then you'll have that, what I call the food regret. not overeating or anything like that, but oh, I could have had this. You know, if you have too much on hand to eat, then I think that you have that, oh, I could have had that quiche instead of this burrito, but you know, you get the idea. So I like to have these kind of foods. They're versatile, they're interchangeable, and they're pretty cheap. I like that. It's budget friendly, and they're healthy. So, and another question was, do I go out to eat? Do I eat fast food? Yes, I do. And my motto is everything in moderation. So, normally I don't go to McDonald's or Subway, or I live in a small town in Alaska, so we don't really have that big of a variety. So I think fast food for me would be Taco Bell, of course, burritos. So a quick burrito that I don't have to make. And often I'll just go to the grocery store and get deli foods, stuff like that. Or if I go out to a restaurant, I'll eat in moderation, you know, I'll kind of portion control. But sometimes I'll let myself splurge. So sometimes if I want to eat 1,000 calories at a time, then I'll eat 1,000 calories at a time. And I'll let a meal that I'm splurging on a cheat day, or, you know, if I'm really craving something and I've been craving that for a long time, then I just give in. I just give in to that craving. So a lot of times, what I'll do is I'll have a piece of chocolate at the end of the day, or I'll have a little bit of ice cream, or maybe a little bit of cake, or, you know, some sort of treat where if it's in my calorie range, I'll eat it. If I have enough calories left in my day, then I'll just have that for dessert, or sometimes I'll have it for breakfast. So, yeah, everything in moderation for me. I generally don't eat fast food too much, but when I do, I don't feel guilty about it, I guess. So, and then the last question was, what is the easiest thing and what is the hardest thing about losing weight and getting healthy? And I really love this question because it made me think. I had to really think about this one. And the hardest thing for me is drinking enough water. I really do, for some reason, I have a really tough time getting enough water in a day, especially since I exercise and I sweat, so I need extra water. And I need to remind myself, you know, I can't just take a sip here and there. You know, I should be drinking more than 2 cups a day. So yeah, that's the hardest thing for me, is just getting enough water in. And you know, here I am thinking, why am I so bloated? Why am I retaining so much water? It's because I need to drink more water. So, yeah, that's one of the hardest things for me. And another hard thing is, when I was first starting out, was the trial and error of finding a diet and exercise that I liked. You know, it's just, I tried a little bit of everything, and I noticed that I liked a little bit of everything. You know, I started out walking around a track, and now I do mostly workout videos at home. I use Fitness Blender a lot. I love Fitness Blender. So you can check them out. They're really great. Seriously, look them up. They are really great. I've been using them for years now, their videos, and they just get better and better all the time. So yeah, I love them. As far as the trial and error of finding something that you like, I think that's the hardest thing. And kind of sticking with it or continuing with the exercise once, you know, you're going through that trial and error period of finding foods that you like, finding your calorie range, you know, how many calories do you need, how much do you exercise. The whole trial and error of getting into your diet and exercise program or lifestyle change is, I think, the hardest part. And one of the easiest things, actually, for me, is sticking to your routine. Once it just becomes part of your life, once that is your lifestyle, once this is who you are now, I think that is the easiest thing, is sticking to your routine. You may change it up every once in a while, which is good. You should change things up, as I mentioned earlier, but once exercise and a good diet become part of your daily routine, I think it does become easy. It's just who you are. That's what your life is now. So those were all the questions. I hope that this was good information for you, that you got something out of it. And if you have any comments, suggestions for videos, questions for me, feel free to leave a comment. Feel free to private message me if you'd like to. I have an Instagram, Dandy Manders. I have a Twitter, Dandy Manders. I have a blog, Dandy Manders. So I'll link everything down in the description box. And yeah, hopefully you got something out of this, and I will see you soon. Thanks for watching. Bye.